Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. What's good? I know it has been a while. I think I haven't uploaded in almost 2 weeks. And I know a lot of people probably been wondering, where have you been, Mocha? What's going on? You have not uploaded. You have not put anything up. You haven't been putting out any new content. Well, for those who haven't been keeping up, basically, I've already kind of been forewarning you, if you've been paying attention, before I stopped uploading, that I was going into correctional officer training, which I'm currently in process of doing right now. And I'm only down to a couple of weeks. So because of that, I had to put my time, my energy, and my dedication into this career of choice that I have chosen. And this type of career is very demanding. It takes a lot out of you emotionally, physically, and mentally. And it's one of those type of careers that you have to really be focused. You have to really concentrate. If not, you're going to struggle. So that is the reason why I had to put my blogging aside, so I can focus and concentrate on this career that I'm pursuing. So because of that, that's why I have not been uploading, and I haven't been doing any content. So I don't have much time left. We'll be graduating soon and things of that nature. So it's an awesome thing, but at the same time, I've come to realization that now that I'm really pursuing this, and this is something that I plan on doing, that my lifestyle is going to have to change. So this may be the last time that you see my face on this avatar. You won't be seeing my face anymore. I'm going to have to like use symbols and things of that nature, because when you go into law enforcement, it's just a certain type of lifestyle you have to have. You can't do things the way you normally would do things, and it's just totally different. People who are in law enforcement can totally understand. And people that are in law enforcement, they don't, a lot of them don't even have social media pages. Some of them don't even have Facebook. They don't have Twitter. They don't have YouTube. And there's a reason for that. Y'all see it every day on CBS, CNN. It's always a correctional officer, um just a police officer, somebody who officer who actually works the streets. They'll say the wrong thing on YouTube. They'll say the wrong thing on Facebook. They'll say the wrong thing on Twitter. And as you know, all hell breaks loose, because when you become an officer, you are held to a higher standard. I'm drinking my coffee, y'all. So it's a lot of things that you cannot partake in. And I have to be even more careful due to the fact that YouTube is so messy. I cannot afford to get into it with anyone to the point where I'm battling back and forth, and I miss to say the wrong thing out of anger, because now it's my job on the line. And you have to realize that a lot of these departments are becoming very, very, very strict. And they're doing it for a reason, because they are tired of being embarrassed. A lot of these police departments, these agencies, they are tired of officers embarrassing them, bringing disgrace to their department, because they don't know how to conduct themselves on social media, or somebody challenges them on social media, and instead of them saying, you know what, I'm under oath, I've been sworn in, I cannot partake in this type of foolery or whatever, they fall prey to the game. And next thing you notice, it's all over the news, it's all in your local neighborhood. Officer caught on Twitter, caught on social media, saying XYZ, blah blah blah, bringing the script to the department. So it's very, very sensitive right now. It's not a lot of these departments, I know what it looks like from the outside, but me going in as an officer, I realize that a lot of these police departments, they are not playing the radio. I know it looks like officers get away with so much stuff, they can say and do whatever, and that's definitely not the truth. I'm sure it varies from agency to agency, but nevertheless, I realize this is what I've signed up for. So things are going to be changing. So you won't be seeing my avatar, my face anymore after this video. So I'm going to be changing that, but I'm still going to upload. I'm still going to do my content. So you know that's not going to change. But out of respect for what I'm getting ready to do, I have to change my lifestyle. You know, because people are very malicious, people are very vindictive. You want to do something for fun. You want to do something, you know. Um, and you know for good reasons, and you have good intentions, but somebody can make it for bad, especially in these YouTube streets, because the YouTube streets is very messy. You know, like I said, they're very strict. These departments are very strict. They don't even want us posting that we're officers. They don't want us even, you know, posting any pictures on Facebook in our uniforms and stuff like that. So it's very strict, and it's for good reason, because again, some people, they get a badge, they get a uniform, they don't know how to carry themselves as officers. They all the professionalism goes out the door, and that's something you would have to consider. And really, it's not even with just law enforcement. If you are a doctor, if you are a nurse, uh, a head nurse, whatever, you can't be conducting yourself all kind of way, because all it takes is somebody to see you getting out of pocket on social media. They contacting, they doing their research, because people can find out anything, any they can find out anything about anybody these days. So all they have to do is find out where you work and send your boss, send the CEO of the company and say, hey, this is one of your nurses you got working for you, this is one of your officers you got working for you. Look how they act on Facebook, look how they act on YouTube. And that's what I'm saying. It's all your career's gone over a simple comment, because you call somebody the B word, you call somebody the N word. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these departments, they're not playing that racism stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, once you sign up for a certain type of profession, you have to conduct yourself a certain type of way. You know what I mean? So now I have to be careful with using certain words. You know, so where I talk in the street, that I can't present myself now on social media because of the career that I chosen. They did not choose me. I chose the career. So with that being said, I have to abide by what the principles that are required of me, and that's just the way that it goes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with all due respect, just thought I'd put that out there. Secondly, I've been hearing a couple of things in the YouTube streets. Hearing a couple of things, and it hasn't been nothing bad, but I've heard a couple of things about because there's a few people that know what I'm doing, and I heard them kind of mention it, and the statement was, is Mocha going to get caught up? We know when it comes to these prison, and when it comes to these correctional institutions, that a lot of fraternizing goes on, and we've heard all of these stories. We hear them all the time. We've seen them on Snap episodes. We've seen them on For My Man. We've seen women lose their jobs, lose their professions, their careers, over fraternizing with inmates in the correctional institutions. But to kind of clarify that, for one, I'm not working in a prison. I'm working in the jail. And I'm learning in this profession, as simple minded as I've been, that a jail and a prison is not the same thing. Believe it or not, it's a lot of people that think that. You have people say, I'm going to jail. Nah, you going to prison. Okay. There's a difference. And to kind of break that down is that, when it comes to jail, usually offenders or those who have been uh charged with an offense, and they have to attend trial. They basically have to be placed somewhere. They have to be confined somewhere temporarily, until they actually go to trial and are actually convicted. They have to be confined. They have to be stationed somewhere to ensure that they actually go to court. And that is where jail derives from, meaning that that's basically like a placement. It's a placement type of place, until you actually are convicted, which means that you'll only be there temporarily. They have you there until your trial comes up. Once you go to your trial, and once you have convicted and been charged and sentenced, now you're going to be shipped to the prison. Most people in jail are usually charged with offenses like misdemeanors, something that's usually that will pretty much have to make them serve at least a year or less. That's jail. Now, again, once they're convicted, that's when they go to prison, which means they're going to be doing more than a year. And most likely it's not going to be a misdemeanor. Most likely it's going to be a felony. So that is the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Jail and prison is not the same, which clearly brings me to my point. I will be working for a jail, not a prison. Okay, so I'm not going to be with Big Bubba and lifers and hardcore high maximum security offenders. No, I'm not crazy. I know to stay on my lane. um and people who do choose that profession as a correctional officer to work into a prison, I definitely commend them, because you're dealing with people who have nothing to lose. They're going to be there for the rest of their life. So they fear nothing. They don't fear hurting an officer. They don't fear attacking an officer, because they know they will never get out of jail ever. So what? I got 60 years. You gonna add 10 more? You know what I mean? A lot of them have accepted the only way they're leaving prison is in a body bag. So I'm not working for a prison. Also, my husband would not feel comfortable with me working for a prison. I work for a jail. So that's the first thing. I cleared that up. So basically, the facility I will be working for is a facility for people who are going to be convicted and eventually shipped off to the big house. People who are in there for like child support misdemeanors. What else? Um, let's see, child support. Caught with drugs. Excessive traffic tickets, stuff like that. The type of offenders I'm going to be dealing with are not really a high risk threat. Now, this is not to say there are a couple of offenders that are high risk offenders, but they're in certain units, and I think they usually put the most experienced officers, those who have higher ranks like corporals and lieutenants. They put them with those type of offenders since they're more experienced. But for the most part, it's a jail. It's not a prison. So thought I would clear that, because I've been kind of hearing rumors like, she going to be working out of jail or prison, and she may get, you know what I mean, she may get caught up, because we hear all type of stories. And it does happen. And my thing is, I think jail or prison is the worst place that a woman with low self-esteem, or a woman that has insecurity issues, she definitely does not need to be in that type of profession. Because you can't get caught up. You're not used to being complimented. You're not used to being told you're beautiful. You're not used to being told your perfume smell good. I mean, you have to realize, inmates are, they are professional con artists. That's what they do, and they know how to tap into a woman's emotional chamber. And if you are the type of female, you are weak-minded, you are vulnerable, you having problems at home with your old man, your marriage is on the rocks, your relationship on the rocks, or you don't have a man, or you just may be one of those women, you love attention. There's some women who love attention. They feed off attention. They feed off of validation. And if you are one of those type of women, you would not succeed in this type of career. So I totally, I get it. The reason for me, I know I would not have that problem is, for one, I'm in a marriage, I'm in a relationship. I'm not being deprived in that manner to where there's anything somebody can say to me and I'm a melt like M&Ms in the hand. It's just not going to work. Secondly, they have stressed and made it very clear. You get caught fraternizing, you done. And I just really think, seeing all of what's required as an officer, because they expect a lot from you, and they hold you accountable to a higher degree, that it's not worth it. When I see women who get caught up in these type of situations, I'm like, boo, all the stuff you had to go through to become an officer, all this PT, this physical stuff you have to do, in and out on a regular. All of these tests, all these exams, all of these things you have to qualify for. You got to qualify in firearms. You have to qualify and getting your jail certification. You got to be OC sprayed. I mean, it's just so much stuff you got to go through to turn around and lose it over an inmate for whispering sweet nothings in your ear. You cannot make an inmate your soulmate. I don't understand the psyche of some of these women, but again, unless you have been in that situation, it's easier said than done. But a lot of women who have done it have regretted it. You lose your job, you embarrass your family, and please don't be married and your husband find out. It's just too much. It's too much to lose. Taking that type of chance, fraternizing, because at the end of the day, you have to realize, those dudes in there, they don't care nothing about you. They don't care about you. They don't love you. They don't want to be with you. These guys, they inmates hustling and manipulation is all a part of survival for them. And if they got to lie to you and tell you all type of things and manipulate you and con you to get you to sneak stuff in the jail, get you to sneak cell phones, get you to sneak drugs, get you to pass letters to their loved ones on the outside, see, all of this stuff is a major violation as an officer when it comes to working in these correctional facilities. But we hear stories about it all the time. Like, we hear women who have done it. There was a woman here who did it. She was actually a correctional officer where I'm getting ready to work. And what happened was, she was fraternizing with an inmate, and she had children. She was a single mother. And what ended up happening was, when he got out of jail, she allowed this man to move into her home, knowing he was a convicted felon and all of that. And sure enough, a couple of months down the line, her daughter comes up missing. The whole town here heard about it. The young girl, her classmates at her school, everybody was just, worried, and it shook the whole town up, because we don't have a lot of incidences like that happen here, and it was a young black female, and that whole story really impacted my area. And sure enough, her body turned up in Savannah River. um I guess like months down the line, and come to find out, it was that convicted boyfriend and one of his, slum friends or whatever, slum homeboy or whatever, who was involved in the situation. They had not only raped her, but they also killed her. And even though the state couldn't really prove it, everybody knew it was him. Everybody knew he had everything to do with it. And so what the state ended up doing, they ended up penalizing him for something else. They couldn't get him for that in particularly. But then I heard, by the time they did find a solid evidence, it was too late. You know what I mean? I think it's called double jeopardy. You can't try somebody twice for the same thing. Damage was already done by the time they did get the solid evidence. So, basically, she as a woman had to live with that. You know what I mean? You lost your daughter, because you trusted a convict to move into your home. So, I mean, like I said, it just boils down to being a weak-minded female. You know what I mean? So um I can't speak for everybody, but I definitely won't have any issues in that area. But I could also assure you of this: if I ever felt that way, and it's not to say that I would, but if I ever felt that way, I would have enough balls. I would turn in my badge first. Because my thing is, if you're going to go there, for any lady that's in a correctional facility, any woman that's in law enforcement, if you're really that vulnerable and you feel like you're catching feelings for an inmate, you better off, because my thing is, think about it. They're going to fire you once they catch you, right? You're going to lose your career. Your face is going to be on the news. You're going to end up right in the same prison as an inmate where you was an officer. So my thing is this: doesn't it make more sense to just turn in your badge and say, I'm getting ready to make a decision that I know is going to impact my career, so I would rather turn in my uniform and go take a chance. That way, if something happens and it doesn't work, I can always come back to my career. You get what I'm saying? That would be the perfect thing. That if you really got to go there, turn in your stuff, deal with this inmate. That way, if it go left or go wrong or whatever, you make a come back. But depending on how you affiliated with them, your department still may not let you come back, even though you turned in your uniform and stuff, because they're going to find out the reason you left was because you was dealing with Bo Jackson. That's just the name. Inmate 67826, convicted felon and murder, committing excessive murders, or because he was a gang banger or whatever. They still might not let you back in that department, but at least it's better that you left versus them catching you and you having to walk that hall of shame in front of all of your other officers. Then you got to be in the same uh facility with the inmates you used to boss around and tell what to do. You know what I'm saying? So as a woman, if you're going to go there, you better off, just turning in your stuff. And it's not just women who get caught up, because it's a sexist thing when it comes to prison. Everybody wants to say only women get caught up, and that's a lie, because men get caught up too. There's been a lot of male officers who have been corrupt and living foul, who also have gotten caught up messing with female inmates. Okay, we've seen it all the time. They abuse their authority. Some of these men know, because they have authority, that's been granted to them by the state as an officer. They do the same thing. They take advantage of these female inmates. They have raped them, they have used them. It happens both ways with men and women. So my thing is, as a man, as a woman, once you decide to take that oath, you have a responsibility. You have to uphold it. You have to mean business, and you have to not allow your emotions to get the best of you, and not allow temptation to overrule your future. It's just not worth the aggravation that you have to deal with. So anyway, just thought I would put that out there, because I've been kind of breezing by. I can't really affiliate too much in the chat rooms like I used to, because again, I'm still in process of training, so I don't have the same time and energy, which is why I didn't go live today. Because when I go live, I could be on live for like 3-4 hours, and I can't afford that, because I got to study and everything for the rest of the weekend. So anyway, so that's the situation with that. So I appreciate all of you who have been reaching out to me, and been checking on me, saying, how's it going, Mocha? It's going well. I appreciate the support and everybody who's been asking me and everything. So I would love to send pictures. I would love to post pictures and stuff of the things I've been doing, but due to the departments and just all these rules and regulations, and they're very, very strict about it. So I cannot really share all of what I do there. And I had my first experience with being pepper sprayed, and I will say it is the most horrible experience in this life. I would rather get shanked with a knife than to ever get pepper sprayed ever again in life. I felt like I had crossed over and saw the pearly gates. That's just how terrible that stuff was. I couldn't breathe. It was just terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. I can't express it no other way. But it's something that we have to do. If you're seeking this type of profession. But I tell you, it was a horrible experience. It was terrible. But yeah, at least it was something I got to experience, and it was awesome. I have a really good department. You could tell they're like family there, and I'm pretty confident with the choice that I made. I can tell that they really mean business there, and that they're going to make sure we have all the effective training and knowledge that we need in order to be effective correctional officers. So again, big ups to everybody who have been asking me about my profession and what I've been up to. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. And for those who have not been aware, I told y'all, what I'm doing and what's going on and everything and all of that. Okay. Now, Moving right along. Now, I thought this situation with Mary J. Blige was very, very interesting, y'all. I had to do my little commentary on this. Now, ironically, Mary J. Blige, R&B soul queen, one of my favorite singers. I definitely have to give Mary J. Blige a lot of props. This woman has had to conquer and battle a lot of her inner demons. She's been on drugs, she's been on alcohol, cocaine. She's been very transparent, which is something that a lot of Black women are not known for doing, in sharing all of her personal battles. So she's made it known that she's been a piece of work for many years. She's been in numerous relationships. I remember when she was with KC from Jodeci. She's been with singer Case, so she's had her share of men in the industry, and we know how that goes. These men, they have all kind of women all over them, so it's very rare, even no matter how good of a woman you are, that these dudes in the industry are going to stick with you, because they have so many choices to choose from. However, I wanted to talk about this, touch up on this topic a little bit, because this is something that a lot of women um are known to do. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate on it a little bit. Now, Mary J. Blige is divorced from her ex-husband, Kendu Isaac, and she stated she regrets publicly thanking her ex-husband for helping her end her drug addiction. She further says he did not deserve that credit, says Queen of Hip Hop Soul. I wanted a savior, she explained. I've been hurting so long and so much and so bad. The 9-time Grammy winner says it was her own inner strength that allowed her to kick her drug habit. I've seen visions of what I would look like if I kept doing drugs, she says. If I saw myself almost dying, or if I almost died or almost OD'd, why would I do that again? Blige married Isaacs in 2003 and filed for divorce in 2016, 12 years. The divorce was finalized in June 2018. Mary claimed that during their marriage, Isaac spent more than $420,000 on travel charges involving a woman he was having an affair with. Looking back at their relationship, she says, I had to forgive myself for being so stupid. Despite all the pain, she adds, I had to forgive him for everything he did. So I remember she also said in another blog that the reason why um, you know, even though she saw that, she was being taken advantage of in a lot of ways in a relationship, in her marriage, that she said she was trying to make the fairy tale real. And as a woman, I can definitely feel her on that. This is something that a lot of women are prone to do. We can see the relationship is destruction at its finest, and we will find a way to make it work, no matter what. Um, because we're, as women, we're more concerned about our image. We're more concerned about what our family is going to think, what our friends are going to think. We don't want to like failures, especially Black women, because we're already at the bottom of the totem pole as far as how society perceives us, and we're already pretty much considered as failures on so many levels. So because of this, a lot of us are willing to endure and take all type of things that we normally should not take, just to say, I'm not a single mom, I'm not a single woman, I'm not a woman who can't get a man, because as Black women, we're pretty much told that we can't get the best of anything. So because of that, we will try to come up with excuses and reasons to tolerate all type of things. Now, moving further along, I really want to kind of get into this, and I have to keep this down to an hour because I got to go study. But this is my concern. Now, ever since Mary J. Blige came out with this statement that she regrets giving her husband praises and credit, um, Tisha Campbell did a video doing the same thing. Tisha Campbell, she's an actress. She played on House Party as Sydney. She played on Married with Kids with Damon Wayans and all of that. Tisha Campbell. She's come out. She did a video showing the home that her and her now ex-husband, Dwayne Martin, used to live in, and she showed the home, saying how beautiful the home was, but how miserable she was there, how unhappy she was. She didn't exactly say those words, but but you can get the vibe. That's where she was going. She was saying, now I found happiness. There's happiness, and then there's the girl from the pretty Korean. I hate mixing up people's race. I don't know if she's Korean. I don't know if she's Japanese. I don't know. Her name is Jeannie May or something. She's on The View, with Tamara and with those ladies on The View. I don't watch that show a lot like that or whatever. And Lonnie Love or whatever. She's a pretty Korean woman. She not pretty Korean female. She now goes with rapper. She's dating rapper. What's the man name? Oh, he said, oh my God, goodness, I see his face. Jeezy. She's dating him now. Now she all of a sudden wanted to come out with, she's saying the same thing. Yeah, I gave my husband a lot of credit, and because I didn't really know who I was, I really didn't love myself, and I really didn't know myself. But now that I'm with this man, he supports me and everything that I does. And I'm like, I'm looking at all of these women. I'm like, you know what? Women, we do this mess all of the time. When we lost at something, now when we lose at something, we failed at something. Now that damage is done, and a relationship didn't work. Now we want to share to the world how stupid we have been, how much we really didn't know ourselves. Now, these are women who have been married in relationships with these men more than 10 years. So you now see how bad of a husband he was and how much you really gave him too much credit. Now, let me go back to this Mary J. Blige thing. And then I'm gonna go back to all of these women now who want to talk about their ex-husbands so bad and how they praise them too much and give them too much credit. Now, going back to your girl Mary J. Blige, because I love Mary J. Blige. I mean, I love her music, but that has nothing to do with it. Let's put the entertainer side thing on the shelf because we know she's wonderful at that. So that I can never rob her. I can never take that away from her because the girl is phenomenal. The woman is phenomenal. She could sing her butt off and she looks hella beautiful. Her body's still right and everything. So I got to give credit where credit is due before I go in. However, I remember all of the years when Mary J. Blige was with Kendu. She was pressing all over the red carpets with this man. She was in an interview with this man. You can tell, let's not look at now, but you can tell at that time they both truly and genuinely had a love for one another. I remember when she was on an episode with the show Tamar and Vince. And hell, they divorced now, okay? But I remember how all the couples, let me tell you what's so funny about that episode, y'all. I remember the Tamar and Vince show when they did an episode where all the couples went to Tamar and Vince's house. Tamar, that's Tony Braxton's sister. Vince, that was Tamar Braxton's husband at the time, big time producer of Lady Gaga and all this and that or whatever. Anyway, they're divorced. Like I said, money does not does not evidently bring happiness because Hollywood couples, they constantly divorcing. Okay. Anyhow, I remember they did an episode when all of the couples was there at Tamar and Vince's house having a dinner. And I remember the couples that was there was what's Lil Wayne baby mama name? Latoya and her husband at the time, Memphis. They was there. Of course, Tamar and Vince there, that was their house. And Mary J. Blige and Kendu was there. And a couple of other couples was there. And I remember how they all was talking about, and Mary J. Blige was doing the most talking. I remember the episode. You should be able to pull it up on YouTube when y'all log off of here. And I remember she was giving all this advice on how you have to work together and how love is what keeps y'all together. She was giving all of this advice. And it sounded really good, like, she knew what it took to put a relationship or to keep a marriage going. And I remember Tamar was praising her at the table, like, girl, you are so right. That's true. And my thing is, what really boggles my mind about women like Mary J. Blige and all of these women that's coming out, my thing is, all of a suddenly, you have so much to say now about how a man has used you, how a man has taken advantage of you, and how you realize you gave him too much credit. First of all, what people have to realize when it comes to a marriage, that is how marriage operates. When you're in a marriage together, that is what a husband and a wife does. You'll have men who will praise their wives. My wife's a good cook. My wife is good to our children, and all this and that. And all of a suddenly, and I hear more women do it than men, because I've heard men and women when they divorce. I rarely have heard a man say, you know, uh, even though he's divorced from his ex-wife, I haven't heard too many men say, well, I realized I gave her too much credit for being a mother, because she wasn't really a good mother. I mean, she only would fold and wash their clothes on Mondays through Friday, but she would never do it on Sunday. Or she couldn't never cook. She could never cook. I don't know why I praise the cooking, because her cooking was terrible. I rarely ever hear men talk down on their ex-wives as much as women talk down on their ex-husbands. But my thing is this, Mary J, you've been with him 12 years, and your last album, all you talked about was how much he loved you and how much he appreciates you. I could love you 25/8. I got so much love. You was there for me even when I felt like I couldn't breathe, and you knew me better than I knew myself. Her album, I can't remember which one it was, but that album during that time when she was married to him, she talked about him throughout all of her songs, how good he's been to her, how wonderful he's been to her. Even in her interviews, she talks about you, and she said it, when I was on drugs, he was there for me when nobody else was there for me, and this and that. So my thing is this: it's easy now to talk bad and harshly about this man, because I understand as a black woman, we are quick to sympathize with other black women, especially because we can all relate to each other's pain. So as soon as a black woman says a black man dogged her, as a black woman, we automatically want to side with the woman, because pain is something we all can relate to as black women. All of us have experienced betrayal. All of us have experienced being cheated on or taken advantage of, whether if this was your current mate or your mate in the past. So black women, we are very quick to empathize with other black women. But on this one, I cannot empathize with Mary J. Blige. I don't care what nobody says. I can't ride with her on this, because my thing is this: you talk so badly about how he took advantage of you, and I'm not saying he didn't. I'm sure he did. But when people is hurt, people will do that. Women, we do the same thing. When the shoe on the other foot, a man pisses us off, or we don't went through all kind of hell and back, and he's got all of these millions, we can take him to court. We're gonna take him for everything he got. We do it all the time. But when a man does it, he's less than a man. He's not a real man. How you want to take this woman to court and take her for everything she got? Yeah, what Kendu was asking for, he was being petty. Yes, he was. But what he was doing is no different than what we've been doing as black women, women in general, for centuries. Black women do it. White women do it. Puerto Rican women do it. When we have been burnt, the first thing we want to do is burn a man's pockets. Okay, but when a man does it, oh, he's a simp, he's a better male, he's broke down. What y'all have to realize, ladies, in this whole situation, you gotta look at it both ways. First of all, she was with him for 12 years. So all of a suddenly, now she sees the light after 12 years. Now, has she divorced in the first year, second year, third year? I'm like, okay, you wait till you get in 12 years. Now you want to badmouth the man. But at the same time, we don't know what Kendu had to go through with Mary J. Blige, because let me tell you something. Mary J. Blige is a beautiful woman and all of that, but I believe she is a piece of work. I believe she's a piece of work. I remember I saw a video of her. It might still be here on YouTube where her and Kendu went to some type of party. And I don't know if Kendu was looking at somebody or Kendu said something to her. She was getting ready to slap the piss out of him in front of all of them grown men, in front of all them people. And I'm like, really? You was that mad with your husband? You couldn't hold that down till y'all got from up out of there, let everybody see y'all got problems and all of that. She was getting ready to slap him. Security had to step in and grab her arm. And that video probably should still be here on YouTube. My thing is, you have to realize Mary J. Blige used to be an addict. And people who have dealt with addicts will tell you these addicts sometimes, even when they have been rehabilitated and reformed, they have flashbacks where they'll snap and go off and blow up about little things and all of that. I believe truly Kendu went through just as much hell and back with Mary J. Blige as she has with him. I believe it. Y'all have no idea probably what he went through with her in that mansion. Her outbursts, her mood swings, her lashing out, and you probably just want me for my money. Ain't no telling how much he had to go through to convince her he loved her, to convince her I'm really here for you. Yeah, when the divorce got ugly, yeah, he tried to go in and take her for everything she had. Everybody does that. When you're angry and you upset, I rarely know anybody who says, well, we're just going to divorce peacefully. I don't want any money. I don't want the house. I don't want the cars. I don't want the dogs. Everybody gets ugly. But what it is, because we're in a sexist society, if a man wants money, all hell breaks loose. If a man asks for child support, all hell breaks loose. And what women have to realize, the law is not only in favor for the women, but it's also in favor for the man. So of course, if you are a woman and you got way more money, you bring way more money to the table than the man, and y'all divorce, guess what? That judge is gonna have you pay up. So you take a chance when you decide to be with a man whose income is less than yours. And same thing for men, vice versa, and especially for men, because once a woman has children from you, you already know it's down from here or there. So I say that to say this. She talks about how she was on drugs and how drugs affected her life. Kendu came into her life, rather he may not have had the best intentions. Maybe he knew her situation, which is why he came in and he played on it. Okay. But whatever the case was, I think the majority of marriages, I think a lot of people go into marriage with an agenda, to be honest with you. I had an agenda at one point in time. My agenda was, I wanted to marry my husband because I knew he would always take care of me. I knew financially I would never have to want for anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved him too, but at the same time, everybody has their selfishness. Everybody is, let's not act holier than thou, like you didn't get with somebody for the wrong reasons. But you find out in time, when you start experiencing some real trials and tribulations, that you know what, it's not about the money at this point. It's things that happen. I know when my husband almost got hurt on the roof, he had an issue where he almost fell off the roof. None of that mattered to me. The money he made didn't matter. The light bill, the water bill didn't matter. The first thing that was going on through my mind was, is my husband okay? I don't want him to get hurt. So you will get a reality check if you come into marriage for one reason. There's gonna be things that are gonna happen that's gonna give you a reality check and make you realize money ain't everything, popularity ain't everything, fame ain't everything. Y'all lose a child. When you find out you got cancer, things happen, and that's when you reality really sinks in, that you know what, I realize I really love this person. At first, it probably was about this, it was about that. But once you start going through all type of trials and tribulations, you lose your parents, your child gets hurt in a car accident, or you lose somebody, a child through death and stuff. Realistic situations really make you realize what's really important and what you should value. And with that being said, even if Kendu, he did have motives or intentions, but the thing is, he was there for 12 years. He was there. Now, granted, I heard about him cheating on her in the end and messing with the female that Mary J. Blige was trying to be a protege to and all this other stuff and everything. But again, before all of this ugliness came out, Mary J. Blige praised this man. So he could not have been the evil monster that she's making him out to be now. And that is the same thing with Tisha Campbell. That is the same thing with Gianna, whatever her name is, May, from The View. All these women now want to come out and talk about how horrible these men were, and Wendy Williams, same thing. I let him take advantage of me. I let him do this and I let him do that. But in actuality, these women said they endured it for years. They did not see nothing wrong with it, and now because the public has been exposed to your perfect marriage that you tried to put up this image and make seem like it was going so great. Now you want to tell everybody you see the light, you realize you put too much time and energy into somebody, and you put all this and you did all of that, and you gave him your time, you gave him your money. Now you got so much negative to say. Now that damage is done, but you was with this person for 15, 16, 17 years. And my thing is, all of these men that they talking bad about, I rarely have heard any of these men come forth and say anything bad about them. Mary J. Blige husband, well, ex-husband, Kendu hasn't came out and dragged Mary J. Blige yet. Dwayne Martin, Tisha Campbell, ex-husband, he ain't came out and dragged her yet. Um, uh, Wendy Williams, I haven't heard the men doing the dragging, but I'm hearing the women doing all the dragging. So my thing is, did you really have an epiphany, sis, or are you still just bitter? Because that's the vibe that I'm getting. I don't even think so much Mary J. Blige sees the light. Because my thing is, this is not to say that a woman cannot come to that point and say, you know what, I realized I was used, I realized I was taken advantage of, I realized I was getting pimped, I realized all of that, and you know what, I realized at this point I have to make better decisions as a woman. Meaning that when a woman has really accepted where she has failed and where she has went wrong, she does not have to go acknowledge it to the world. Because I think what Mary J. Blige and all of these women that are doing this, I think what it is they're looking for sympathy. They want empathy, because they have not gotten past the fact that these men have moved on, and um now they're looking for some type of compassion. They're looking for some type of sympathy. I think Mary J. Blige is still speaking out of hurt. I don't think she's woke like that, as they would say. I don't think she's woke. I think that she is still hurt, because she hasn't had been able to find any love since then. I've seen that she dated some African guy, some king or something. I don't know what happened with that. I haven't heard anything else about it. But in my opinion is, I just think she feels cheated. She still feels cheated. I still feel like even with her success, with her fame and all of that, she still feels like Kendu got the best of her. She has not gotten past it. I think that's the same thing with Tisha Campbell and Gina May and all them other women who now want to come out and talk about how stupid they realized they were. No, what it is, they never got past the fact that the men they gave so much of their life to, invested so many years, invested so much time, they still feeling cheated. And their only way of trying to convince themselves that they are not feeling cheated is by going on these talk shows and doing these interviews. I realized I gave him too much credit. I realized, I really didn't know myself. I really gave him too much of myself. It took you 10 ladies. I'll tell you this much. If it took you over 5 years, at that point, it is not stupidity. You were there because you wanted to be there. And it's easy now to say how stupid you were and how much you shouldn't have took off of somebody and all this and that or whatever. Now that damage is done. But my thing is, you wait till the marriage is completely over. Now you want to encourage other women and tell other women how stupid you have been. We're talking well over 10 years. All of these women wasn't long drawn out marriages. These women wasn't married no couple of years. They've been with these men for years. Now they got all the answers. Now they're telling all these other women out here, don't be stupid. Know your self-worth. Know who you are. You should have been figured out who the hell you was within the third or fourth year of that marriage you claim was so bad. You claim he mentally abused you, he physically abused you, he dragged you. And it's to me, it's another form of being petty. It's always like that one dude, if a woman breaks up with him, now he wants to talk about, oh, her coochie wasn't good anyway. Oh, she always left her panties in the sink with stains in them. Now you want to talk so bad about the woman, you want to air all her dirty laundry because you butt hurt, because she don't want you no more. But at that time, you ain't had no problem seeing her panties in the sink. All them 6, 7 years you was with her, you ain't had no problem still screwing her with her bad coochie, whatever. The 6, 7 years you was with her, it just sounds like a butthurt person that's bitter and has not gotten past the fact that you have invested all your time, all your emotions, all your feelings, all your energy into somebody who you feel has robbed you of everything that you have given them. So I really feel like that is the case with Mary J. Blige. I really feel like she's frustrated with the fact that she put so much into him, but that's what marriage consists of. That's why you have to be careful who you marry, because there's no limit. That's how marriage goes. I hate when people say, when it comes to married couples, they say, well, that man was stupid, that woman was stupid. No, they was being what was called married. You and the person, when y'all are married, there's no limit as to how far you will go, how much you're supposed to do for each other. You're supposed to put all your money into that person. You're supposed to put all your time. That's your wife. That's your husband. There's no limit. You're not supposed to limit each other. You're supposed to be there for each other as much as possible. Give each other as much as possible. Do for each other. Support each other as much as possible. So now that damage is done, or the marriage or the relationship didn't work out. Now you want to sit up here and drag somebody and make this man look like he a no good ass dude. He used you, he played you and all this and that. But as I recall, when y'all were together, you bragged on this man all the time. You was everywhere in the red carpet with him. You was everywhere, and you had him with you on every award show you went to. He was sitting in the audience with you. Nicki Minaj said the same thing. She wanted to talk about Safari hairline, how she had to pay for his hairline and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? You got a lot of petty people that cannot handle when things don't work out in a relationship. They want to badmouth the other person, talk about how the other person wasn't this and wasn't that. And the whole bottom line is, you are just butt hurt. You still are resenting the fact that the relationship didn't work out, the marriage didn't work out. Now you want to talk about you wanted a savior. 12 years, Mary J. Blige, he was your savior? I don't think so. I think that is a cop out for the reality that you don't want to face, is that you put a lot of time and energy into a man who you realize got to a point where he could not deal with your demons no more than you couldn't deal with his shenanigans. So both of y'all failed each other. So you're not going to sit up here and get a pass from me. And I think a lot of us as women, we need to stop giving other women a pass because they want to do all they wait until Excel stories and cry about what their ex-husbands did to them and how their ex-husbands used them and took advantage of them. You cannot sympathize with a woman just because you're a woman. You don't know what she took that man through. You don't know what he had to deal with. Like I said, I love Mary J. Blige, but I really believe, other than her stage name, Mary J. Blige, I believe Mary J. Blige, behind the spotlight, is a woman who has a lot of issues. Just like he came with baggage, because everybody want to say Kendu came with baggage. He came with 3 kids from a previous relationship. Okay, well, Mary J. Blige didn't have no kids, but guess what? She came with baggage. She came with drugs. She came with uh being ran through, men taking advantage of her. She came with baggage too. Guess what? When you get in a relationship, everybody's coming with baggage. Everybody wants to rag and drag this man, but Mary J. Blige was with him for 12 years. Okay? Yes, it was ugly on both of their parts. They could have handled it better. He was wrong. She was wrong. But let's not quit to jump to somebody's side all because they are the singer, they're the one with the money and all this and that, because you don't know what the other person had to deal with. So anyway, y'all, my kitchen is getting ready to get a little noisy or whatever. So I'm going to get ready to shut it down or whatever. So I just want to touch bases with all of you to let all of y'all know, things are still going pretty great. So going well so far with the training. And I thought it was important that I brought this content to you. As women, we need to stop sympathizing with women that want to all of a sudden come out 13, 14 years in a marriage and talk about all of what they went through and all of what the man did with them. Lady, look, only thing I could respect her more if she would have said, you know what, we both could have been, I could have been a better wife to him, and he could have been a better husband to me. We deserved to give our marriage more than what we gave it. I could accept that better than I took him in because he was my savior, and I was just so hurt. So, and I've been through so much. That just sounds like, to me, you looking for sympathy and empathy. It really don't sound like she's really owning her part, what she really did wrong or whatever. So to me, I just think she's still hurt. She's upset. She thought she finally got her king, and after 12 years, I think she believes she finally landed a marriage that was going to last for a lifetime, and it just didn't. And I think she's still angry with him because Kendu still going on about his business. He still got his little bit of money from her. He didn't get all of what he was trying to get, but he still got over in a sense. So for that, she's angry with him. So a lot of women and men, who in the situation, they would do that. When they feel like the ex got most of the money, the judge gave them mostly everything, they got custody of the kids, and you had to walk away with nothing. It can make you angry. And if so, if you're somebody dealing with that, you need to pray on it. Ask God to heal you. Ask God to give you peace where you can move on and stop hating and being angry and being bitter at your ex. So anyway, y'all, don't forget to cash at me. If you still want to support my brand, because I'm still going to be doing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, I'm just going to be making some changes. So if you still rock with your girl and you still want to support me, whatever God blesses in your heart to do, if it's $2, $5, doesn't make any difference to me. You can cash at me. Where's my freaking banner, y'all? Um, at Cafe de Paris. No, I'm sorry. Look like this thing deleted it. But yeah, it's gonna be $ Diamond Girl DYMONDGYRL if you care to donate to my channel. That way I can continue to upgrade in my software and upgrade in the equipment that I'm using to give y'all more effective and better content. So anyway, y'all, it's been nice chatting with y'all and giving y'all the latest and finally reaching out to y'all and letting y'all know how things are going. So again, it's your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. And also, before I shut it down, give me y'all intake on this. Do you really think that Mary J. Blige really sees the light? And I want to hear from you ladies, especially. Do you think women, do we have the tendency when damage is done, now we want to see the light and talk bad about a man? Or is it that she's really seen a light, and do you really think she really has woke up and she sees things for how they are, and now she knows better? Or do you think she's speaking from a bitter ass place? Because I would love to hear what you women have to say about this, because we're so quick to sympathize with other women. So I really want to hear what you ladies got to say. But guys, also give me your input, what you think about the situation. So anyway, y'all, it's been real. It's your girl, Lady Mocha. Y'all take care. Holla at y'all soon. Bye.